In Greek mythology, Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to mortals. As punishment, he was chained to a rock where every day an eagle would come and eat his liver. The striking thing about the story is that his liver would always grow overnight. Well, today, medical researchers are trying to develop this Promethean ability to regenerate kidneys, hearts, intestines, you name it, through a thing called tissue engineering.
Wait a minute. What is tissue engineering?
Oh right, I forgot. Tissue engineering refers to the attempt to create functional human tissue from cells in a laboratory. Its ultimate goal is to become a cure, not merely a treatment, by repairing or replacing tissues and organs that fail due to disease, genetic errors, or traumatic injury.
Let's say these are cells from a damaged tissue or organ. Now these cells, they may have some memory of what they're supposed to do. But they also need things like nutrients, oxygen, but more importantly, the structure to hold it all together. Now this structure, it comes from a thing called scaffold. Scaffolds come in many different shapes and sizes. For example, this is a scaffold for an ear, and this is a scaffold for a finger. Without a scaffold, cells are free-floating. They can't connect with each other, communicate, and form tissue. With a scaffold, they have structure that they need for a certain period of time until they form enough tissue to have their own structure.
This is the application of scaffold in bone tissue engineering. Here's a Joe. Joe is normal officer until one day he went to hospital and found that he had bone tumor. Doctors suggest him to be cured by photothermotherapy. Photothermotherapy is an arising treatment that uses absorbed near-infrared lights, or NIR, to generate heat locally, which destroys the cancer cells in the surroundings area. It is a promising approach because it can target cells in specific areas without systematic toxicity or long-lasting tissue damage. But the few tumor cells can survive and proliferate once again. Scaffold that can both support regeneration and repair while suppressing tumor recurrence are highly desirable from a critical point of view. Scaffold absorb the NIR radiation and convert it into heat very efficiently. It simultaneously provides the capacity for photothermal treatment to target any remaining tumor cells. Then, the cells are growing and growing until form the newborn, and scaffold will dissolve in the blood with its biodegradability. And finally, Joe, who had the bone tumor, finally get the newborn. I had a newborn!
Bioscaffold has been used in osteochondral tissue engineering. It is a technique to repair osteochondral tissues or the tissues that occupy our joints. For instance, knee dislocation might result in the osteochondral defect inside our knee. In such a case, usually two types of tissues are damaged: the bone tissue and the cartilage. To support the regeneration of these damaged tissues, a particular type of bioscaffold can be used. The important property that should be taken into account is the pore size of the scaffold. For the bone phase, the pore size should be larger than the cartilage phase for the development of the blood vessels in the bone tissue. Silk scaffold is one of the bioscaffolds that has been developed by scientists to cure the osteochondral tissue defect because it has high biocompatibility and less toxic degradation product. So far, this bioscaffold is still being developed in laboratories. Scientists are optimistic that it can be used to cure the osteochondral defect in the future.
You may wonder, what is so good about scaffold? Well, first of all, scaffold can be used to help tissues which lacks the ability of self-repair, such as articular cartilage. Cartilage cannot repair themselves when they are injured due to the lack of blood supply. Scaffold can serve as structure for cartilage cells and support cell adhesion and proliferation. Second, synthetic scaffold can be constructed to mimic specific extracellular matrix properties, constructing a cell environment which closely resembles native tissue is favorable to produce tissue function in vitro. Now, we all know that nothing is all rainbows and sunshine. Even scaffold has its own disadvantages. The first one is the vascularization of in vitro scaffold construction. An adequate vascularization is necessary to create tissue substitutes, which depends on blood supply. A fully functional capillary structure, however, cannot be generated yet with the current technology. The second one is the possibility of microbiological contamination in the source materials. The materials we use to create scaffold may contain latent viruses, and these viruses may cause infectious diseases to spread.